I welcome you all for this session on hashing. Before proceeding for hashing, we must know the background. Background is what? Our objective is to do the searching, and for that purpose, we have seen two algorithms, that is linear search or binary search. However, what happens in case of linear search and binary search? We are either sequentially searching the elements, or by using the technique of binary search we are trying to search or compare with the middle element, right? So in both these cases the time required to search a particular element is a large. Now, is there any method by using which we can access a particular element in O of 1 time? What is meant by O of n time? In that, O means the time complexity. Okay, big O notation. So O of n times means what? O of 1 time means what? In a constant 1 time. That means as soon as I'm giving input for searching, we are getting the result immediately. That means we want to improve the search efficiency. And one of the technique to achieve this, that is called as the hashing. So hashing is what? Is nothing but one of the efficient searching technique, right? So for that purpose we need to understand some important concept. That concept is hash table. Why hash table? Because data to search is stored in the hash table. Now let's understand what is meant by the hash table, which is also called as HashMap. Is a data structure that is used to store and retrieve data very quickly. We will see how to create a hash table. Insertion of data in hash table is based on a key value. So basically we calculate the key value, okay, and based on that key value we enter data into the hash table. So every entry in the hash table will be associated with the same key. So one key with one data. A hash table, that is called as a data structure, and that is for storing what? Key value pairs. That means in hash table we will be having entries like key and value, where key will be used to store the data and value, that means the value associated with this key value. Okay, for example, roll number 1 is the key value, and associated with that roll number the name of the student, then percentage, class, everything. These are nothing but the different values associated. Okay, so hash table is a data structure in which keys are mapped to an array positions by hash functions. So what basically we have in a hash table? In hash table we have the index column and then value column. So here whenever we want to store any value into the hash table, first we are going to calculate some values. That values will be used as an index into the hash table. What I am saying, that values will be used as an index into the hash table. Okay, so then that keys will be mapped to the array positions by the hash function. So this table can also be searched for item, for any particular item in O of 1 time using hash function to form an address from the key. So basic understanding here is that the time required to search a particular element in case of hashing will be O of 1, that is constant time. Okay, example, storing a vector record in the hash table, vector id will work as a key. I will show you the example. Okay, so before that we will see what is meant by hash function. We have seen hash table. So to brief, hash table is nothing but a table where data is stored in the form of keys and values. So it is a table to store the data. Now we have to calculate the key, and to calculate the key we need to have a hash function, right? So what is hash function? It's very simple. Hash function is any well-defined procedure or mathematical function which convert the large, possibly variable sized amount of data into a small value or datum, usually a single integer, that may serve as an index into a array. That means we are going to have some value, for example x, y, z. Then we are going to apply function on this x, y, z. Then it is going to return some value to us. Okay, that value is nothing but an integer value. This integer value we are going to use as an index into our hash table, and associated with that index, this is the value that we are going to store. So key value will be V, and the value associated with this key will be X, Y, Z. In this form we are going to store the data, right? Now hash function is a function which maps the key values, to array indices. So whatever key value we are going to get, that will be mapped with the array indexes. Or hash function is a function which, when applied to key, produces an integer. See, hash function is a function when we applying it on a key, it producing an integer which can be used as an address into the hash table or as a index into the hash table. Is hash table or hash function, both concepts are clear to you? Okay, now we will use h of k for representing the hash function. Okay, and what is hash value? Hash values, the values written by the hash function are called as the hash values or hash code or hash sums or simply hashes. In different terminologies and different textbooks, you might be getting hash values or hash code or hash sums or simply hash. Okay, different books, different terminologies may be used, but out of these four, one might be used. Okay, so understood everyone what is hash value? When we are applying hash function on the values, we are getting hash code or hash functions. Okay, the hash key or hash function key, hash key, or after applying hash function, whatever key we are returning, that key that is used to map several dictionary entries in the hash table. How it is, we will see. Each position of hash table is called as the bucket. Now what is this? See here, this is nothing but my hash table, this is nothing but my indexes. Okay, and these second column is nothing but the values. Okay, now if for the same value we are getting multiple elements, so one element yielding the same value 1, second element also yielding the same value 1, third element also yields the same value 1, so all values associated with key value 1 will be in one bucket. So this particular term will be called as a bucket. So each position, that is position 1, will be called as a bucket. Okay, so all the elements which use hash value 1 will be in bucket number 1. Is that clear? Yes. Now what is meant by hashing? So before understanding hashing, we need to know hash table and hash function. Okay, now let's understand what is meant by hashing. So what is hashing? Hashing is the process of mapping large amount of data items to a small table with the help of hash functions. Means we can place the dictionary entries, that is key comma value, in the hash table using hash function. Means what? Hashing is the process of mapping large amount of data items to a small table with the help of hash functions. Hash table is an extremely effective and practical way of implementing dictionaries. It takes O of 1 time for search, insert and delete operations in the average case, and O of n in the worst case, but we never take O of n times in case of hashing. Okay, now here I am showing you the examples. Now assuming that we have a list and elements are 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So how many elements are there? 5 elements. Okay, now this is my hash table. Okay, so I know that in hash table we have index. Okay, now here size of the array is 10. So we have index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 9 and minus 1, that is 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 is nothing but index of the last element. Okay, now we are using array as a hash table, and our objective is to place the values into the hash table based on the hash values. Okay, so what value we have? 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. These values we have. Okay, and hash function that we are using is h of x is equal to x mod 10. That is the hash function. Now we apply hash function on first value, that is 11. So what we do? 11 mod 10. Mod is what? A modulus operator that gives remainder of the division. So when we divide 11 by 10, remainder is 1. So here remainder is 1. That means in table we are going to store value 11 at an index 1. So where should be 11? At an index 1. So here will be the 11. Is this clear? Now next value is 12. So we will do 12 mod 10. What will be the remainder? 2. So at the place of 2, index 2, we are going to place 12 and so on. Next time when I want to search, for example, 12, whether 12 is present in the hash table or not. So we will use same hash function. So we will do 12 mod 10. What is the answer? 2, right? So directly we will retry you a of 2. A of 2 is what? 12. A is nothing but name of the array. Is this clear? So only one search is required. In case of sequential search, we will compare 12 with 11, 12 with 12, and then match is found. Assuming that I have to search 15, so I will do what? 15 mod 10. Answer is what? 5. So we will directly search A of 5, right? But in sequential search, compare it with 1, compare it with 2, then 3, then 4, and then element number 5. Then we will get the match, right? So in sequential search, it takes O of n time. However, in case of hashing, it takes only O of 1 time. That is the advantage of hashing. Is this clear? Okay. Now the example. Assume that we have a table with size 8. And the elements are 36, 18, 72, 43 and 6. These are the values that we have to place in the table. Now this is what the table with the index values. Okay. Now the hash function that is given is h of x is equal to, or h of x is equal to x mod table size. So table size is 8, which is given in the problem statement, right? So now 36 mod 8 is 4. So at the place of 4, what will happen? 36 will be placed. So 36 is placed here, right? The next value is 18. 18 mod 8 is 2. So at the place of 2, 18 will be placed. Then next is 72. So 72 mod 8, 0. So at the place of 0, 72 will be placed. Then h of 43 mod 8, that is 3. Okay. 8 5s are 40. Remainder is 3. So it will be placed at third location. And h of 6, 6. So it will be placed at 6. This is nothing but the process of hashing. Is this clear, everyone? Okay. Now we have the problem with hashing, and that problem is called as collision. So what is collision? That we will understand now. Okay. So collision is what? If the hash function returns the same hash key for more than one record, then this situation is called as collision. That means we have many records which are giving same key. That means in one block we have saved one data, and again we have to save another data in the same block. So what will happen to the previous data? It will get override by the new data, right? And this concept is called as collision. If hash key returns different record is called as synonyms, which is not problematic. Similarly, when there is no room or memory location for a new pair, that is key value, this situation is called as overflow. That means my table is over and there is no new location is available in the table for new values. It will be called as overflow. Few times we can handle collisions. It may lead to overflow condition. Collision and overflow shows the poor hash function. That means if my hash function is not good, then there is a possibility of collisions, and there is a possibility of overflow. Okay, so understood what is meant by collision? Okay, now I will show you the example. Again, assume the table size of 8. Elements are 36, 18, 72, 43, 6. One more I have added, which is 52. Okay, so as table size is 8, my index will be 0 to 7. So first value h of 36 4 will be placed here, 18 will be placed here, 72 placed here, 43 placed here, and 6 is placed here. Now next element is h of 52. 52 mod 8 is 4. 8 6 is 48. Okay, 4 is the remainder. Now whether 4th slot is available? No, because already 36 is placed there, right? And this 52 cannot be placed. See here, this 52 cannot be placed at that location, and this is called as collision. Clear? So is collision good or bad? Bad, right? So what is the characteristics of good hash function? It should create no any collision, right? So I have listed here many characteristics of good hash functions. The hash function should be simple to compute, it should not be too complex, right? Number of collisions should be less. If no collision occurs, then function is called as perfect hash function. No collisions, perfect. Hash function should produce such a key distributed uniformly over an array. It should create that kind of key. It should be let's say distributed uniformly over the array. Okay. Perfect hash function is a function which, when applied to all members of the set of items to be stored in hash table, it produces a unique set of integers within some suitable range. Unique means what? No any key is repeated. All keys are unique, and that function is called as perfect hash function. There will be no or minimum collisions. Okay. Such function produces no collision. Good hash function. Now perfect hash function is okay. Now what is good hash function? Good hash function what? Minimizes the collisions by spreading the elements uniformly throughout the array. So in good hash function, collisions will be there, but minimum number of collisions will be there. Okay, not the large. Now we have seen collision is not good. So we have to understand what is meant by collision resolution. How to avoid the collisions. We have seen that collision is not good, right? We have to avoid the collision. So we have to understand now what are different collision resolution techniques.